Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's Gentle Yoga Flow. My name is Alex Caspero. I am a dietitian and plant-based chef, and I am super excited to be joining you here today. I will go ahead and set my phone down here, and I'm going to head back to my mat. But I will come back and check this feed every now and then. So if there's any issues or anything, good morning, that you like to see or integrate or have questions on, go ahead and place them in the comments, and hopefully I will see them and we will add them to our practice this morning. I've kind of designed today's gentle flow to really be just that. So something that you can come into on this beautiful Sunday morning and kind of enter your body with. I recently gave birth to my daughter, so this is sort of the flow that I've been using when I want to come into my body, but I'm not quite ready for such a vigorous practice. So I hope you will join me and enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we'll come to a seated position that feels really comfortable for you. So if you want to go ahead and cross one leg or cross both legs, if that feels good. And then taking a moment to notice if we have any pressure on the knees or on the hips. If you have a yoga block, you can go ahead and set that underneath your hips. If you've got couch cushions or a rolled up blanket or a pillow, that works too. Just go ahead and lift up and then stick them underneath that. All right, so settling in. Let's go ahead and bring our arms to our knees. And then I want us to inhale, draw the shoulders all the way up towards the ears. And then exhale, draw them back down. Good, let's do that one more time. Inhale, bring the shoulders all the way up. And then exhale as you actively draw the shoulders down and back, so really opening up through the chest. Turning our palms up. And then go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't done so already. Just taking a moment to scan your body, to scan yourself, taking inventory on who showed up this morning. Perhaps taking notice of maybe anything that doesn't feel quite right or any areas of the body that you're really working on healing today. You know, I think sometimes this idea of gentle or easy or beginner has such a negative connotation in our society. We're always told to, push harder, do more. But I think that taking a gentler approach is sometimes a really nice kind of yin to the constant yang that we face. And then also allowing ourselves to slow down and find a pace that really feels a little bit more nourishing. Can be really positive no matter where you are on your yoga journey. Let's go ahead and bring one hand to the belly and then one hand to the heart. And then just begin to really sort of notice the breath as it flows through us. So for most of us, this is probably the first active thing that we're doing this morning. And then just really gently observing, without changing anything quite yet, just how that breath moves and feels as it enters and exits into our body. So perhaps we're feeling that inhale as it comes into our chest and then pushes back out as we exhale. And then we'll just gently take the next few minutes to really elongate this breath. So starting in through our nose, inhaling in. And I want you to kind of visualize that breath as it expands through the chest and perhaps reaches down to our thumb of the belly. And then exhale, like pushing that air all the way back out. And again, out through the nose, maybe we feel a little bit of flutter on the upper lip. And then again, inhaling in. Maybe this time we go a little bit deeper. Perhaps that breath starts to push the navel out as we inhale all the way down to the bottom of the belly. And then taking our time, exhaling so slow, drawing that breath back out. And let's do this a few more times on your own. Just Just really sort of noticing how that breath enters you, letting it fill up, expanding through the rib cage. And then oh so gently drawing that breath back out. And then one more time, inhaling in. Full exhale all the way out. Hands come to our heart center. Then if you'd like to set any intention for today's practice, I invite you to go ahead and do so now. And then gently sort of fluttering the eyes open. Let's go and bring our hands right in front of us. So just coming into a nice sort of gentle forward fold to start. Keeping your hips as square onto either the mat or onto a blanket or whatever sort of underneath you. Just go ahead and tent your fingertips right in front of you. I want you to inhale, draw the chest open. And then as you exhale, hinging right from the hips, gently see where you can walk your fingertips down. Good, inhale, stay here. And then exhale, let yourself lower, drawing your head down. Just feeling a nice hinge, trying to keep the back somewhat straight or somewhat natural and really sort of bending right from the hips, coming in to maybe some of that glute stretch, maybe a little bit of your hamstrings. And let's do that one more time, tenting the fingers to give yourself a little bit more grip. Inhale as you walk yourself a little bit more forward. Good, draw the shoulders down. And then exhale, let yourself this time round and fold over to whatever feels good to you. Good, staying with that breath, just really gentle, in and out. And then walking your fingertips all the way back out. And then we're gonna swing our legs around and we're gonna come into a tabletop pose. So I'm going to go to the side here, that might be easier for everyone to see. Let's go ahead and just sort of align ourselves. So knees are right underneath our hips. Our hands are underneath our shoulders. And if you have any wrist issues, you're welcome to come to some fist here. Or you can drop down to your forearms too, if that feels good. And then coming into this tabletop pose for the first time, just kind of coming into whatever feels natural. So sometimes I like to sort of wiggle around. Maybe circle the hips a bit, go forwards and back, just really kind of coming into whatever's calling you, whatever feels like something that you want to actively get into. And then we'll go ahead and set up into our all fours. Good, neutral spine, drawing into both of our knees and our hands. I want us to press the earth away, so actively feel your shoulders as they hug down so we're not slouching into our neck, but actively drawing that away. And for some of us, this might be enough, so you're welcome to stay here. If you want to move on, I want you to inhale, take that nice deep breath in, and then exhale, start to hug the chin to the chest, tucking your hips underneath you, arching your back towards the sky as we come into our cat pose. Inhale, waving the spine, so arching the back down, drawing the shoulders even more, taking that gaze all the way up as we come into cat pose. Or cat pose, excuse me. And then exhale, again, hugging back in to our cat. And then sort of taking this mini vinyasa, really linking our breath to our movement, allowing yourself to inhale as you lift up into cow. And then exhale, waving that spine, arching all the way up into your most exaggerated pose of the cat. And then you go a few times here, sort of starting to warm up through the body. Perhaps if you're ready, really starting to linking our breath to movement. And just knowing at any time in today's class, you're welcome to take any kind of break that you'd like. setting any kind of ego aside, letting yourself really fall into whatever gentle or nourishing flow you need for you. Good, one more time all the way through. And then we'll go ahead and end here in a neutral spine. And then go ahead and separate the knees a little bit more, drawing your hips back towards your heels, coming into our first child's pose. If it feels good, you can go ahead and draw your head or forehead all the way down to the mat. If your head doesn't quite reach, this is another great place. You can place a blanket or a pillow or a yoga block if you have one at your home. Then we're going to lift up just slightly, taking that right arm, and then gently kind of threading it underneath our left for our thread the needle. This is sort of one of our first poses, so I don't want us to really overextend quite yet. Just coming into a place that you can start to gently feel that stretch on your deltoid, but not anywhere where you feel like you're really straining. And then if this feels good, you're welcome to bring your head back down, perhaps turn your gaze over towards the left. And again, if you want to prop yourself up with a pillow or a blanket, you're always welcome to do so. Gently unwinding. And let's take that on the other side. So setting our right hand back down, left arm comes underneath. And then again, finding whatever posture is calling to you on the left side. Coming back to the breath, especially if we've lost it. Really gentle inhales. Still feeling that breath go all the way down to the bottom of the belly. And then exhaling back out. Good, one more inhale. Full exhale, stay for the full exhale. And then bring your arm all the way back down. Good, let's settle back into our child's pose one more time. And then I want us to gently come up through all fours here. And then we're going to tuck the toes and then lift the hips as we extend into downward facing dog. And then just like we did in that tabletop pose, like really coming into whatever expression is calling you. So maybe that means bicycling your knees back and forth. Maybe it means kind of coming into a plank down dog. Just allowing yourself to be really fluid and really in tune with what your body is saying. If at any time you want, you can take a modification of down dog. You're welcome to drop your knees here and come into all fours, or you're welcome again to come down onto your forearms. You can either keep your knees here or you can lift up. Let's go and bring the gaze right between our fingertips and then gently bending at the knees, slowly walking yourself up as we come to hang here in our forward fold. Now in our arms, anywhere that you'd like. So a few options, you can hug the crooks of your elbows. You can just sort of let your arms get really heavy. Let's take one nice deep inhale. And then exhale, feel yourself hinge even more from your hips as you draw yourself down towards the ground. So really letting gravity do the work here. And we'll add a little bit of movement. I want us to bend our knees this time, really exaggerating, extending through. And then exhale, hugging those hips all the way up towards the ceiling. Good, one more time, bending, really extending down. And then allowing yourself to lift the hips. And don't feel like you have to straighten the legs. You can keep those knees as bent as you'd like to provide support. And then we'll go ahead and take our hands and then walk them up to some type of halfway lift. So hands can come all the way up to the top of the thigh, they can come to the shin, or they can come to the ground, whatever feels and works best for you. Good, let's inhale, draw the shoulders back towards the waist. And then exhale, hug back into that forward fold. Again, allowing yourself to bend your knees as much as you'd like or as much as you need. Again, inhale, straighten, feel your weight, push your shoulders back, really elongate through the spine. And then exhale, hug everything in, let it go. One more, inhale. Exhale. If your feet are separated at all, go ahead and heel toe them back together. And then I want you to press into your feet to really feel that weight, like press down, like you've got four corners of your feet that you're pressing into the mat. Let your head and shoulders get nice and heavy. And then take your time as you come to stand back up. So imagine our spine is like one of those wooden toys that you're gently unraveling, restacking, block by block, until you come to stand all the way up, arms and shoulders open. Hands come down towards our side. Tadasana. And let's make this pose as sort of active yet gentle as possible. So just like we did before, I want us to spread our toes nice and wide and then really press down into all four corners of the feet. Good, as you do that, you'll feel those thigh muscles start to hug into your femur, gently tucking your pelvis underneath you. So we're not just standing, but we're rooting down into our strength and then relaxing through the upper body. So chest is open, but arms are down, kind of just hanging next to our side. Keep pressing down into your feet, and then inhale your fingertips all the way up. Let's go ahead and grab onto our left wrist, and then just gently extend over towards the right. Inhale, come all the way back center. Hug onto the right wrist, and then again, hug over towards the left. Inhale, come all the way back up. Perhaps we take just a slight back bend. And then exhale, hands come all the way back down, Tadasana. Go to that mini flow again. Inhale, reach up. Hug onto the left wrist, extend over towards the right. Inhale, comes back center. Exhale, all the way extend over towards the left. Inhale, come back. If you like, the back bend is there for you. And then hands come all the way down to your side. Moving on, inhale, reach up. Exhale, extend to the right. Inhale, come center. Exhale, over towards the left. Inhale, come back through center. Open the heart if you'd like. And then exhale, swan dive, come back to that forward fold. Pause here. And just taking a moment again to kind of scan, see where you are, see how that landed for you. Bending your knees as much as you'd like to really give yourself access to drop the chest and feel gravity sort of stretch out through your head and your shoulders. Let's inhale, take the hands back to the legs, flat back. And then exhale, I want you to drop your hands down. Let's take our right leg and then go ahead and step it back and drop the knee, coming into a supported lunge. And then again, lots of options, especially any of us who've had any knee issues. You're welcome to draw something underneath the knee if you need a little bit more support. And we'll be here for a few breaths, so you can take this however you like. If it feels good to keep tenting the fingers and kind of pulling the chest onto your left leg, you can do that. If you want to lift up and kind of gently rest your hands onto your left leg, you're welcome to do that. If you want to open that left leg even more and perhaps come down onto your forearms, you're welcome to take that option too. So really allowing yourself the permission to take what feels best and not what you think you need. One of the beauties, I think, of practicing at home is that we really kind of cut all that ego out that sometimes follows us when we have a neighbor or someone in front of us that we're trying to keep up with, or noticing their practice as we're with ours. We can just sort of really let that go when it's just us in our home, no one watching. Letting our body tell us what we need and even perhaps what we don't. And wherever you are, let's go ahead and bring our hands right back down towards the right. And we're going to go ahead and just gently kind of lift that right knee up and then take that left leg, send it back right into downward facing dog. And then again, bending the knees, maybe dropping the knees if that's what's calling for you. Taking a breath in here to kind of flush that out. And then we're going to inhale, look right between our hands. And then just like we did before, we're going to gently walk ourselves all the way up towards the top. Folding heavy here in our forward fold. Inhale, hands come to the shins or towards the thighs, flat back. Exhale, fold in half. Press into your feet, inhale, reach all the way up, extend up. And then extend over towards the right, grabbing that left wrist. Inhale, come back, center, feel yourself grow tall. Exhale, hinge right from the spine over towards the left. Inhale, come back up center, push the hips forward. Exhale, swan dive, get heavy, forward fold. Inhale, hands come to your shins again, lengthening the spine. And then tenting your legs, as this time your left knee is going to extend back and coming back into that modified lunge. And then we don't always have to mirror everything we did on the right side. So if something different is calling to you on this side, then I want you to take that. Again, lots of options depending on what kind of practice you're looking for here this morning. And then wherever you are, coming back to sort of those tented fingers. We're going to take our strength to lift that left knee up, plant our hands, and then draw the right leg back, coming into downward facing dog. This time I want us to come up nice and high onto our tippy toes, and then bend your knees as much as you can and press your chest back towards your legs. Good, lift the hips up towards the side, straighten as much as you'd like. And let's do that one more time. Come up all the way onto your tippy toes, bend your knees really deep and press your chest, all the way towards your thighs. Good, gently lift the hips, then hug the heels as much as you'd like back down towards the mat. Gaze looks forward. Bend the knees and then gently walk up towards the top. Hugging, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then again, I want you to hug, maybe this time a little bit deeper. Doing that same thing we just did with our down dog. I want you to bend your knees really intensely and then let yourself fall forward as you gently straighten the legs. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands come down towards our side. Hi, everybody. All right, so hopefully we're feeling a little bit warm. We're going to do a little bit of sort of an active flow, coming into some standing postures before we end back down on the mat. So I think this is probably the best way to face you guys. Hands down here, we're going to come into a gentle chair to start. So what I mean by that is I want you to just bend your knees just ever so slightly and start to slowly kind of feel your legs come into the fire, tucking that pelvis underneath you. And then we're going to go ahead and stand all the way back up. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, maybe become a little bit deeper next time if that feels good. But watch your chest. So if you notice yourself sort of hinging forward even more, I want you to stand up and then really draw your chest up. So you're lifting through your chest, but also dropping through your hips. Good. Come on, stand all the way up. One more time. Inhale. And then exhale, come into your deepest pose, your deepest expression of chair, whatever that looks like for you this morning. We'll go ahead and bring our hands right into our heart center. Good, 2 breaths here. Keep pressing into the feet. If our knees start talking to us anytime, or if we'd like to come out, you're welcome to sort of lift yourself back up or come to stand. And last breath, stand and come back into that mountain pose. Right leg is going to go ahead and step all the way back, and then I want you to turn your heel down towards the mat, and then feel yourself bend into that left leg. Yeah, so whatever that bend looks like for you, the more intense that bend is in that left leg, the harder, the more challenging the pose is going to be. And then taking your right hip, and I want us to square as much as we can towards the front. So really feeling yourself like spiral all the way forward, and that might allow us to get a little bit more depth into that left leg. And then this time we'll bring our arms behind our back, and I want us to interlace our fingertips and then actively pull them back. So keep opening that chest. If it feels good and you want, you're welcome to lift your gaze up towards the sky. Good. Keep opening, keep lifting. We're going to take one nice big inhale here. And then exhale, hinge forward. Let our fingertips come up. Keep that same lift that we did standing, but now we're going to do it here in our surrender pose. So if that doesn't feel great, you're welcome to take your hands down towards the mat to help support you. Big inhale. And then exhale, gently take yourself all the way back up. We're going to spiral that leg forward, so now the heel comes up, and then bend even more into that left leg. If you want extra support, you can tuck your right hip underneath you and draw that right knee down. You can also draw that right knee all the way down towards the mat. And then if you're feeling up for it and it feels good, you can bring your hands either actively down towards your side, or you're welcome to lift them all the way up alongside your ears as we come into our crescent lunge. One full breath. Exhale. Gently shift the weight into your left leg, and then we're going to bend the right knee, come to stand, arms come down along our side, Tadasana. Good. Shifting at all if you like. Maybe rocking forwards and back, coming back to our feet, big inhale, and then exhale, setting the hips again ever so slightly, coming into our chair pose. Inhale, exhale, inhale to stand, and then exhale one more time, sinking a little bit lower wherever that feels good to you. Stay for the breath in and for the breath out. Inhale, come back all the way to stand, and then this time that left leg is going to extend back as we come into our warrior one legs. So that heel is dialed all the way down, and then you go. That right knee can bend even as deep or as gentle as you'd like. And then once you kind of have that right knee where you want it, I want us to actively spin that left hip forward, keeping the bend in our right leg. Arms come down alongside. And then when you're ready, interlacing, taking the opposite, the weird, uncomfortable way of crossing your arms, crossing your fingers. And then just notice how that action alone really starts to open the chest, how the shoulders kind of naturally want to hug back, lean into that opening. If you want to go a little bit deeper with it, you're welcome to come into that slight back bend, bringing the chest and the gaze up towards the sky. Then we'll all take one nice deep inhale together, and then exhale, hinge, and come forward. So drawing your chest down where it feels good. If you want a little bit more support, you can bring it onto your thigh. If you want your hands to come down to the mat, that's welcome too. Exhale. Then inhale ever so gently, taking your time, lifting yourself back up. And then when you're ready, pivoting on your heel, lifting it back up, coming into the crescent lunge on the right side. And again, lots of options. So trying to, again, kind of dial into what you need, not what you think that you need, because they're not always the same. Arms can be wherever. Here. We'll take one more breath. After our next exhale, I want you to gently sort of pitch your weight into that right leg, and then come to bring your left leg to join it, coming back into our mountain pose. And then closing the eyes. Just sort of noticing perhaps how even this sort of gentle movement has changed where we were when we started class. Maybe not just in our body, but also our mind. So we did that scan in the beginning, taking a sort of another quick scan, and just observing. Gently fluttering open the eyes, pressing down into our feet. Inhale, fingertips come up. And then exhale, diving forward, forward fold. Hands come to the shins or the thighs and lengthening through the spine. And then exhale, tense your fingers back down. This time we're going to walk both our right and our left leg back and coming into our modified plank. So arms are right underneath our shoulders here. Knees can be as wide or as close together as you'd like. And then I want you to sort of like tuck the pelvis and really feel yourself leaning in, but keeping your back as almost as straight as possible. So taking your butt with you. Good, drawing the shoulders back. And then pushing yourself all the way back into our child's pose. Good, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. And then if you're ready, we're going to shift the weight as we come into our full plank pose. So again, you have the option as always to drop the knees if you'd like. Good, feeling that strength, perhaps kind of really feeling that belly start to kick in, our core start to activate to get nice and warm. And then wherever we are, we're going to go ahead and bend at the elbows and then lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Good, you're resting the forehead down straight in front. If it feels good, you can turn your head. And then flipping our feet so our toes are pressing into the mat. We're going to want to take our arms right down next to our chest, tenting the fingers. Big inhale. Exhale. This time as we inhale, I want us to hug the elbows behind us, gently lift just the top of the chest. And then exhale, tap the forehead all the way down to the mat, let it go. Inhale, hugging the elbows, let your arms actively help you as you lift, peel up, pressing the toe mounds in. And then exhale, tap the forehead. One more time, inhale, come up. And then exhale, tap the forehead, tuck the toes, press the hands, lift, downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees, gently walk yourself towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Press into your feet, inhale, rise all the way up. And then hands come down along your side, gently tucking the hips, chair pose. And then you choose how deep or how extended you want to come into our chair pose. We're going to go ahead and bring our hands towards the chest, towards our heart center. Inhale. And then exhale, I want you to turn your shoulders as much as you can, keeping them as squareness down, over towards the right, really coming into a gentle twist. If it feels good, you can keep your hands right here at your sternum. You can gently kind of wrap your hands around to help use them to twist and keep the chest open. If you want to come into any deeper twist, that option is always welcome for you. Good, one more breath here. Stay for the full exhale. Inhale, come back center. And then exhale, twist yourself again over towards the left. And then same thing. We've got 3 breaths here. Exhale. Gently bring yourself back to center. Inhale, fingertips come all the way up, stand up, slight back bend if you'd like. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step back, and then come into our plank. Gently shifting your weight forward, lowering all the way down towards the mat. Toes flip, fingertips tent. Inhale, lift just the top of the chest up off the mat. Exhale, tap your forehead. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Toes tuck, fingertips come down. Lift the head, or lift the hips, and then you come either into downward facing dog or child's pose. The end of the exhale, bring the head to gaze right between the fingertips, bend the knees, and then gently walk yourself up, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then plant into your feet, rise all the way up. And then hands come down towards our sides, Tadasana. So we're going to shift down towards the mat. And we're just going to go ahead and come all the way down. So be grabbing a drink of water if that feels good. I'm going to shift and turn towards you. And then if you have any of those blankets or pillows that we use in the beginning, go ahead and join them or bring them over towards you. You might want them depending on what your body's telling you. So we're going to go bring our left leg in and then our right leg out. And if you've got any kind of like fleshy areas, you can bring them out to sort of firmly sit onto your sits bones. Again, if you need any kind of elevation, you're welcome to bring some blankets or some pillows underneath you. Let's go and bring our hands on either side of our right leg and then just gently turn and square towards the right. So for some of us, this might just be a really gentle twist. Keep drawing the shoulders down. And then I want you to actively press your right heel forward as if you're standing on your legs. So you're pulling your toes towards your face, sort of gently pressing into your heel. You should feel a nice elongation through your calf all the way up through your hamstring. And then you're welcome to stay here or take one nice big inhale and then allow yourself to gently sort of fold forward, not collapsing through your chest, but extending over your right leg. If you want, you can use your fingers to help pull you down. And then taking your hands on either side of your leg, walking yourself back up. And then switching legs. So bringing that right leg in, left leg out. Again, making any sort of adjustments. So you're sitting nice and firm, turning towards the left. And then again, actively draw that left leg. So notice sort of even that subtle movement, how the muscle changes, how the body changes. Even just flexing the foot, from flexing to pointing, just all the different utility, the different muscle movement that's needed. to make that active. And then you choose how deep you want to go into your forward fold. And then coming back up to center. Let's go and bring our legs in front of us. So knees are bent, and then arms can either come right onto our shins or hitch underneath our thighs here. Good, inhale, open the chest, and then we're just gently gonna kind of lean back, coming into a modified boat pose. So letting the core do some of the work, but allowing our hands to hold on for support. And then if it feels good, perhaps you take one arm out, maybe both arms. And just really allowing yourself to notice if there's any sort of collapse into the pose, bringing your arms back up to support. Good, wherever you are, we're gonna inhale and then gently exhale all the way down to the mat, taking our time and then taking our knees into the chest. And then maybe rocking side to side, rolling the ankles. Let's go ahead and take our left leg down towards the mat. So keep it bent, and then we're going to take our right leg and extend it up. And then rolling that ankle around. And then when you're ready, allowing that leg to sort of gently be pulled into your chest. So you can use your hands if you like as a lever to kind of pull the hamstring. You can come up here towards your thigh, or towards your calf to pull in. And then go ahead and taking the ankle, placing it right on top of our left thigh, and then taking your right hand to your left, your right knee, and I want you to gently press your right knee away, coming into the stretch. So figure four, kind of a pigeon-ish pose as you lie down. Really taking a lot of the muscle out of it. So our back is relaxed, our shoulders are relaxed, our head and neck is relaxed. Really only working on actively opening through the hip, opening through the psoas, pressing that knee away. And then bring your right knee back in. And then switch. So right leg comes down, left leg extends up. And again, whatever feels good, maybe your ankle roll or two, knee, hip, and then drawing that leg into the chest. And then when you're ready, again, crossing, placing the left ankle on top of the right thigh, and then your left arm, if it's there for you, to press it back. If not, you can just sort of actively take the knee and see where you can open through the hip. For those of us who maybe are used to a more active yoga class or yoga practice, sometimes it's nice to shift gears a bit and just sort of notice the subtleties, right? Instead of going all the way to the most intense version of the pose, how does that subtle version feel? How does it differ? Really working on using the muscle to hug, to pull, just to notice that really nourishing stretch. And then left knee comes back in. Let's bring both knees back in. And then lifting the legs up, coming into our happy baby. So arms either underneath the thighs for support. If you want, you can reach up and grab your toes, or you can hug at the inside and allow that to kind of gently pull your knees open. Bring your legs back in. Take your feet down towards the mat, arms extend out like a T, and then draw both your knees over towards the right as the gaze comes to the left. So keeping both shoulders onto the mat, just gently shifting from the neck, gaze looks over. And if you want, you can go ahead and close your eyes as we settle into these last few moments of our active practice. Taking your time, switching sides, so you know what to do, what feels good. Maybe legs stay bent for this one. Maybe your right leg extends. And then when you're ready, the gaze comes over towards the right again. Ready, finding yourself back into the center. We bring in your knees in one last time if that feels good as you set up for our final rest. Extending the legs out long. Arms come down alongside the body. Just sort of adjust where you need to come into this pose of comfort. If you have anything nearby that you want to go ahead and place over your eyes, go ahead and do so. And opening, relaxing the fingers. Relaxing through the toes, letting the legs spread out. Eyes closed, normal breath. Shavasana. Know that you're welcome to stay here for as long as you'd like. You can turn me off, keep settling in. If you'd like to come out and end it, we'll go ahead and just gently start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then taking your time coming into a fetal position. Stacking the knees, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, cradling your head in your arms. Just pausing here in this really nurturing posture. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself up, and coming back to a seat. Eyes can stay closed if you'd like. Hands come back either to your heart or just sort of gently resting on top of your knees. Take one more deep breath together. And the light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been a few years since I've taught, so this is really nice to to come back and to see you guys again. Hi Jess, hi everyone. Thanks again. This will be saved, if I do it correctly, to the page here. So you are welcome to come back and revisit this flow anytime you need. Thanks again. Have a great Sunday.